Hey guys, it's Peter Jordan with Delta Auto Marine on the Lost Angler channel, and today we're going to be looking at the Mangrove push pole from TFO. So we just got it in, it just came in the mail, and we're going to unbox it, look at all the components, and then we're going to show you how to assemble your TFO Mangrove push pole. So hang tight and we'll look at everything. Here's our box. Comes in a pretty good sized box. This is set up to build a 20-foot push pole. Now, I'm going to show you how it's set up. So it's built in sections. So if you want to do a longer push pole or a shorter push pole, you can do that. So let's get it opened up. All right, so first thing we're going to pull out is the fork set. So the fork set comes with obviously the fork. This is made of a really good durable looking rubber. This thing's tough, man. It's pretty awesome. Then from there, the spike. All right, next. These are the actual sections of the push pole. They're 56 inches in length, every one of them. And they are really nice. They're made on a nice, I believe they're graphite, I'll double check. You can take a look at it. You can see it's got that really good texture, great look to it. So it's a really nice setup. Extremely light too. All right. And for this, in order to make a 20-foot push pole, there are four sections of the push pole. We'll get to these in a minute. Packing paper. Another section. And a final section. Here we go. Alright, so these are our temple fork sections for the Mangrove push pole. Next, we have the ferrules. And these are 12 inches each. And the way these work, you see it's the same material, is they are going to slip in between the sections and then let us connect the push pole. So, how do we get to that spot? No problem. So next, now that we've seen the parts of the push pole, we're going to get on to the assembly. Okay, so what do you need to build your Mangrove push pole? Good question. You're going to need 2-part epoxy. I'm using Gorilla Epoxy. You can use JB Weld epoxy. You can use whatever your preference is. You're going to need some razor blades, some sandpaper, and then some masking tape. Then to mix my epoxy, I've got some cut out pieces of cardboard that I can mix the epoxy on, and then some smaller strips that I've cut up so that I can spread the epoxy. So what you want to do, one of the first things we want to do is we want to go to the sandpaper first. On the inside of your sections, there is a release agent that they put on the inside so that when it comes off the mandrel, the sections don't stick to it. So you want to rough up the inside of the sections and you want to rough up the ferrules so that it helps the epoxy to stick better, and also helps to make sure there's none of that release agent on there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rough it up. So I'm using 220 grit sandpaper. And it's really easy to do the ferrules. Just go up and down a few times. This whole process doesn't take very long. Don't want to go too overboard because you are taking material away. All right, so there's one. Now I'm going to do the inside of the sections. Now we want to do the inside of the sections, again, because of that release agent. And the easiest thing to do is you want to take your sandpaper, fold it up, and get your hand in there, like so. And you just want to work it around in there, rough it up real good, till you've got all that done. So just rough it up real good, make sure you don't have any more of that stuff on in there. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Keep on going. So once we've done that, it's time to clean it up. So I'm going to finish all these up, and I'm going to show you how we clean all this up before we start the epoxy process. Okay, so we've got it all sanded out. We sanded the foot, sanded the point, sanded the ferrules, and the inside sections. How do we clean it up? So what we want to do now is we're going to take a paper towel and some rubbing alcohol, and we're going to clean it up. The reason we're using rubbing alcohol is because it evaporates quickly, and if there's any additional adhesive left that we missed, that should take care of it really well. So we're going to go down it, get it all cleaned up, looking good. Make sure we don't miss anything. All right. Same thing again. All the way up and down. So we're going to clean off all of our ferrules. Then we're going to get the feet, get the fork as it were, the point, and again, just roughing it up too also just gives a better place for surface adhesion. Big words today, big words. Then we're going to get inside here. Get that all cleaned up really nicely. And down. Clean up the other side. So I'm going to finish cleaning these guys up. Then we're going to start to epoxy these guys together. So be back just a second. Okay guys, so we've got it all cleaned up. Time to start the assembly. Now one of the things we want to do is we're going to start with measuring our ferrules. We know they're 12 inches. What we want to do is take it and mark at the 6-inch point. The reason we want to mark at the 6-inch point is so that when we put it together and we glue it, it's going in evenly. So this one is 12¼ inches. So you could do 6 1/8. Boom, there we are. There we go. And this ensures that we will have some evenness. Now once we've measured one, we can just come across and do all of them. And that just makes life a little bit easier. This doesn't have to be an exact science, but the closer the better. I like to do an X with a line through it, just so it's a little bit easier to see. So I've got my line for the center, and then I go X, like so. Here we are. Now, next up, we're going to do a little bit of preventative maintenance. So on my sections, to make sure that this epoxy doesn't mess stuff up. I'm going to take some masking tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sections of the ferrule, of the sections of the push pole, not the ferrule. I don't know what I'm thinking. And I'm going to tape it up. Once I've done that, I'm going to take a razor knife or a razor blade. This is a lot easier to do if you can do this in your workshop, but I'm doing it at the office. Alright, I'm going to come right here. And what I want to do is I want to go nice and flush with the end of the section of the push pole so that I don't have any tape that could be preventing a good adhesion. So this little extra step makes the cleanup so much easier. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to tape all these up, then we're going to mix our epoxy and we're going to start to put it together. Okay, so we've got everything taped up and we've got everything cleaned up. Next, got everything marked. Now it's time for the epoxy. I am going to take that piece of cardboard we discussed and then mix this up. Now this, which is pretty cool, does come with one popsicle stick. So if you have, popsicle sticks, like you've got kids or whatever, that's a great thing. If not, you can use the cardboard like we did here. I don't think there's any hard, fast rules to this. Alrighty. So I bought 2 things of it because generally you want to do this in 2 days. We're going to epoxy one side first, so one ferrule first, and then from there we're going to do the next, because if you do them both in the same day, the ferrule will try to slide back and forth and it'll become uneven, and we don't want that to happen. So we're going to get this open and we're going to go from there. Okie dokie, so here we go. Alright, so it says you want to mix this for 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to grab one of our sections, and first thing I'm going to apply it to is going to be on the tip. Good, got my section ready. Now I'm going to take a small part of what I got going on and I'm going to spread this on the tip. And I'm not super worried about keeping this part really clean, simply because it's going to take a lot of abuse. So if there's any epoxy left over on there, it's not super clean, it's not the end of the world, because it's going to end up getting kind of roughed up. So I'm going to take this now. Take my handy dandy paper towel. this guy up. I'll make sure I have a good set. And this sets in about 5 minutes. So to make sure that I have a really good set here, I'm actually going to get back to my old friend, paper tape. And I'm going to go up and around. Boom, there we go. And that's going to ensure that this stays in place. Now, while this section is drying, I'm going to add the ferrules to the other 3 sections. Now, what I like about the 2-part epoxy is I can mix a new small batch every time I do it, so I never run into the chance that maybe I'll make a mistake and just it'll start to cure too soon. So I've got this part done. I've got it taped up. I'm going to set this to the side. Next, we're going to do a ferrule. So we're going to repeat the process again. We're going to take it, squeeze some out. Don't have to use too much. Mix for 20 seconds. So that's 20 Mississippis. Awesome. Now we're going to spread this on. Just a little bit more, just on the safe side. All right, lovely. Now, got it on here. Let's take our section. We've got our spot marked. We're going to slide it in. Now, take a piece right here, and I'm going to remove the excess, like so. Set this to the side. Let it cure. So, on the last video, you probably saw we had some drippage. If you do get some drippage, rubbing alcohol on a paper towel takes it right up. So, whenever you do it, my suggestion is to make sure you put paper towels down or newspapers. Nowadays we don't really have any newspapers, so put some paper towels down or put a piece of cardboard down underneath you, so if you do have some spillage, it's not a big deal. So I'm going to finish these up finish these sections, and then tomorrow we're going to let it cure a full 24 hours. Tomorrow we're going to put all the sections together. Once that's cured, on the third day, I'm going to add the fork to it. Now, the question is, why waiting so long? And the reason is, once this seals up, it's going to be airtight. And if we try to put everything together all in one go, whenever I try to shove this in, it can force the sections apart. So all the hard work we did can be undone. So we're going to do this in stages. All right, so here we are. We have all the sections done up. We are drying as we speak. So that all went very nicely. And we got a little bit, you know, gooping around, not a big deal, because once we take off the masking tape, it'll be good. Now I found some cool techniques on the on these, and I'll show it to you guys when we do the next section on how you can avoid overspill and how to be a little bit more effective on cleaning up. So if you'll look, we were a lot cleaner on the last ones we did than on the first one. So hey guys, so I hope you guys got something out of it, out of that video we did. And we're going to do each day is going to be a different video. So this way it's done in 3 videos, and I'm going to put it on a playlist on my YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it all at once, it's a lot easier. But this way you see step 1, this is what you do day 1. Step 2, this is what you do day 2. And then step 3 is we're going to put the last section on, unwrap everything, clean it up. So I hope this was helpful to you, and we'll see you tomorrow for step 2.